So data science is the future. People are saying that people are talking about data is growing day by day, and at the same time, they are saying that data is the fuel of 21st century. Now the question arises that why people are saying that data is the fuel of 21st century. Now, some of the things changed over the period of time, right? And if I talk about why suddenly this buzzword comes and why people are talking about data, like everywhere you will see that data, like why? Because the overall, uh, if I think about my childhood, right, at that point in time, the first machine which I got, which is HCL machine, and it's like Pentium 2, I guess, and it was around 512 MB RAM, and also the hard disk was around 50 GB, and it was costing me around 30,000 rupees. My father purchased that at the cost of 30,000. Now, if I talk about today, my son has a tab with, uh, I would say, 4 GB RAM. So you can see that there is a drastic change happen over the period of time. Now, if I want to purchase a machine with a good configuration, I will have to spend less amount. And if I talk about saving the data, if I want to save the data in the cloud platform, then if I talk about Amazon Web Services, if I talk about Google Cloud Platform, if I talk about Microsoft Azure, the costing is like few dollars. So the main thing which changed over the period of time is the processing power increased drastically. At the same time, the data saving capacity increased. Companies are now collecting data from various different data sources, and from there, they want to analyze the data and then come up with the insights. And some of the experiences about my, like when I was working for Deloitte, there were some clients who are like wanted to get the data. So there was one client, Celgene, they are producing drugs, the medical drugs, and for them to create a drug over the period of time, it was taking around 8 years. Suppose they want to create one drug, they have to do all the clinical trials and uh, understand the data, and then finally the entire process takes around 8 years to generate one single drug. And we created a solution, and now they are able to create the drug in 4 years. We reduced the time almost 50%. And why this happened? Because we are capturing data from various different data sources. For example, let's say I want to create a drug which will have some percentage of magnesium. Now, obviously, when I have a data, if I want to analyze that data, then obviously I will able to understand, okay, if I increase the quantity of magnesium, there are chances that something goes wrong. Or if I reduce the percentage of magnesium, then there are chances that something goes wrong. So these things are very much critical for the business. And if I have data in front of me before doing all these development of the drugs, then obviously that will increase my efficiency and help me to reduce the overall time of creating the drug. So data is growing day by day, and it is going to expand exponentially. And because of that, data sciences, people are talking about the future, and people are trying to learn data science and come up with a good career, right? So this is the agenda for today. We are going to talk about why to choose data science as a career. We already had a discussion because data is growing day by day, and if data is growing day by day, I need someone who can take care of the data and give me some insights from the data. If a good data scientist is available, then obviously you will able to get the good insights from the data, and that will help business to get the meaningful insights. Now let's go to the next slide. And as I mentioned, it's a fuel for 21st century. And also I discussed that the hardware cost reduced drastically, and that is helping companies to purchase a big machine, big configuration machine. At the same time, the storage they are doing in the cloud, and again that is the cost saving approach they are getting into. So hardware cost reduced drastically. That is making a lot of changes in this particular area. Because if I talk about artificial intelligence, machine learning, these are like very old techniques. These are like available in 1970s as well. But at that point in time, there were no high configuration machines, and because of that, they were not able to implement all these things. So that is the reason people are very much interested, and companies are looking for uh, achieving this particular uh, concept. Right? So don't do any painting on my screen, guys. Please concentrate what I'm talking. Right. So 10 out of 10 companies require a data scientist. Now, if I talk about any of the companies, data scientist is required. You just tell me which companies are not having data. Do you think of any company where data is not present? Data is present everywhere, and if data is present everywhere, they have to do some analysis, and obviously they will have to have some good data scientist. And again, there are a lot of job opportunities available. However, if I talk about various different domains, retail domain, right? We can have lots and lots of data available in the retail domain. And if I talk about what all domain, healthcare. Now people are talking about coronavirus, right? And obviously, once this pandemic will over, they will analyze this data and they will try to come up with the insights that why coronavirus came in and from where it came in, right? People are talking about it these days, and people are trying to find out what is the root cause for it. And once everything will be fine, they will definitely want to analyze like how much economic losses happened over the period of time because of this pandemic, and how we can recover our overall finances. And in healthcare also, it's a challenging job. They like people are losing a lot of doctors, a lot of nurses, like they're dying because of this, and there is a drastic reduction in the resources happening in the healthcare industry, and they want to analyze how many doctors I have to generate in over the period of time so that all this crisis can be handled. So data is again politics, BJP, Congress, right? They are using data and they are trying to understand the sentiment of the people, and then from there they are deciding that which location they are going to win, which location is like a weak point, and how we can increase our vote share and all those things. So these days, if I talk about Indian politics, if I talk about US politics, they are using data science a lot and trying to come up with the insights so that it will help them to win the elections. Automobile, obviously, if I want to, simple example, let's say I have a second-hand car and I want to sell the second-hand car. I cannot give any random price to the second-hand car. I have to give some price which is like uh, as per the market standards, right? Suppose I have a Alto car and the original price of the Alto car is around 3.5 lakhs. And now if you go to the market and you will say that I have Alto car which is like 2 years old car and I want to sell it in 4 lakhs. Obviously, it's not a price you will get. So you have to analyze the entire data set, that how many year old the car is, at the same time whether the car is accidental or not, whether it is an automatic car or manual car, right? What is the mileage of a car? So based on all these features, you will able to understand that okay, this can be the best fit price for this particular car, and I can quote that price to my customer. And if I talk about airline industry, it will be a very challenging thing for them as well, because of this coronavirus, no one will travel as of now, right? The flight is not going on, and if suppose they will open up the flights, at the same time they have to maintain the social distancing, and if they have to maintain the social distancing, then obviously in the flight the capacity will be less. If I am um, running one flight, I have to bear the cost, and I cannot run my business in the losses. So obviously my flight tickets will increase, the price will increase drastically, because when I am putting 100 customers, let's say I'm charging 2000 rupees, I'm earning some amount. But now I have only, let's say 30 customers I have to go for because of taking care of the social distancing. Then let's say I'm earning 2 lakhs from that 100 customers. Now I have to earn 2 lakhs from 30 customers. So obviously my cost will increase. But at the same time, I cannot increase the cost drastically, because obviously if the cost is very high, they may not go by flight. So all those things we have to take care of while deciding the price. Now, just a single thing, I'm just changing the price of a flight ticket, and I have to think a lot of things. And how will I able to think that? By seeing the data set, by analyzing the past data, by analyzing the current data, current trends, then we will able to decide that how or which will be the best range of a price for this particular flight.